Hi, this is Randall here in Texas.
And I'm Matt, here in Michigan. Today, Randall and I are doing a new movie that's out in theaters and streaming on HBO Max. It's based on a pretty popular video game franchise that I think you've probably heard of. It's the new Mortal Kombat movie. Now, Randall and I have already done a review on the 1995 Mortal Kombat movie, so be sure to check that out. But the new Mortal Kombat movie stars Louis Tan, Jessica McNamee, Josh Lawson, Joe Taslim, Makad Brooks, Hiroyuki Sanada, Chin Han, Ludi Lin, Tadanobu Asano. It is directed by Simon McCoy in his feature film directorial debut. Now, if you like this video, be sure to hit that like button. Also, be sure to subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified about our latest videos.
This latest version of Mortal Kombat had a $95 million budget and at the time of the recording has made about $20 million back globally. Has had average critical response, but maybe a little bit above average audience response. In this version, Outworld has triumphed in the last 9 Mortal Kombat tournaments, and they only need to win one more in order to be able to invade Earthrealm. But this time around, they aim to eliminate Earth's champions before the 10th tournament can even begin. Now, Matt, I'm a little bit mixed on this one, and I'm going to need you to tell me if I'm just being a grumpy old man or not. So what did you think of this go-around of Mortal Kombat?
I don't think you're totally a grumpy old man on this one. This is a little bit hit-miss for me. There's some elements that I did like about this movie, really enjoyed. I actually did like the action and stuff in this movie. I think this movie is a little bit more for fans of Mortal Kombat that know a little bit about Mortal Kombat. We also get some new things too, but yes, there's other parts that's lacking a little bit. For me, I don't think the story is quite as interesting in this one, and some of the characters are hit or miss for me too. What do you think, Randall?
Well, there's a couple of things I think. Number one, how am I supposed to know that it's Mortal Kombat without a whole bunch of EDM going on? The score didn't nail it for me until maybe at the very end you started getting a little bit of hints of that kind of super eminent theme that we're so used to for Mortal Kombat.
Get over here!
In all seriousness, this one reminds me of like the 2017 or whatever, something around there, Power Rangers reboot film. I wanted more Power Rangers in that film. And in this, I wanted more Mortal Kombat in this film. The fight scenes in this are levels above whatever you would have saw in like the 95 original. But it wasn't really enough to keep me satiated because I wanted to watch kind of the tournament. And in this, like I mentioned in the plot synopsis, they're not really going into the tournament. They're like, yeah, we're going to worry about making a franchise. The next one will be the tournament.
Yeah, totally. This movie definitely sets up for other films too. And that's the little thing I was disappointed about. I don't think this movie was fully like encapsulated. Though granted, the 1995 movie also kind of ended on like, hey, we're going to do a next one or because something's happened next. But this one, I feel like there's like big characters that we don't really do too much with. And it's kind of like, hey, it's going to happen in the next films. So yeah, I was a little disappointed about that. And like you said, the action scenes I think are the best part of this movie. And there probably isn't enough of them. The other parts where we don't have action and stuff. And a lot of like story elements where we get all these exposition dumps and stuff to just let everyone like, hey, here's a character. This is why this character matters. Here's everything that's doing. This is what the tournament all means about that we're supposed to be doing. Like that stuff I really didn't enjoy. So yes, I totally agree. Maybe we need more of those action scenes.
I'm super happy that you mentioned the exposition dumps because I was going to go straight to exposition dumps. Yeah, they're corny, man. The script in this is not good.
It's a birthmark.
What do you mean?
He was born with it.
I mean, the problem with it, though, is that in the 95 original, and we're not necessarily trying to compare it straight to that, I'm trying to give it a fair shake, but nonetheless, this one takes the source material way too serious. The script, the dialogue is so corny, but the characters are all taking it incredibly serious, except for maybe Kano.
Kano wins. You beauty.
But in the 95 one, it's just like, nah, it knows what it is. It doesn't take the source material too serious. You can just have fun with it. And I prefer that take to this take. Not necessarily that the movie's better or worse. I'm not trying to say that. Just that the way that it was made, I think, is a little bit better than the way this latest Mortal Kombat was made.
Now, I want everyone to know, Randy and I might get into a little bit of light spoilers about this Mortal Kombat movie, so if you have not seen it yet and are looking forward to see it, go check that movie out and then come back and watch this one, just so you're not spoiled for anything. But yes, 1 point, Kano. He is probably my favorite character. I'm not necessarily favorite character, but probably most enjoyable character in this movie. He kind of brings a little bit of a humor elements. And as one of our friends has already posted, John, on Facebook about this movie, how they have some, good nods, especially with his character, to people who play the Mortal Kombat game. Particularly when there's like that sweep the leg, where they're just constantly sweeping Kano's leg over and over again. It's like, man, we've all played against someone who does that, just button mashes one move the whole time, the sweep the leg and stuff. But one thing I definitely want to talk about too is, we have this new character and we'll get a little bit more to him. But for me, the best part of this whole film was like the beginning. I enjoyed the storyline with Scorpion, and for people who don't know, you can watch the whole beginning, the first 7 minutes on like YouTube. They released that before they released the video out here in the US. But to me, that was like the best part. I actually watched this movie with our friend Devin, and we're kind of like, after we watch it, we're like, oh man, this is going to be better than the 95 one. This is going to be better than the 95 one. But after we watched it at the end and started thinking about it a little bit more, we're kind of like, you know what? There's parts that we like better and stuff too. But really, I don't think that the rest of the movie really held up to the promise that the beginning of this movie gave.
Daddy, is it really you?
Yes, my dear. I guarantee it. Would I lie?
Daddy. Oh, no, Vesper, don't! Ah! No.
For you!
Well, no, dude, I totally agree. Now, there is one thing. The beginning, which I'll link up above, so that way if you want to go see it, you can go watch it, is probably the best part of the movie. It really is. I thought it set the tone spectacularly well, and that the rest of the movie didn't live up to it. Now, that being said, if you watched like the Mortal Kombat Legacy shorts from about a decade ago now, back on Machinima when that was a thing that mattered, that Scorpion and Sub-Zero movie or whatever short is even better. I'm like, man, you guys should have just taken it from there and went. Like, I think they probably drew inspiration from that, honestly, for the beginning of this. It is absolutely the best part of the film, hands down.
Yep, you watch that animated movie, Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge or whatever. That's kind of that story element. And when I watch that too, that is really good. I think that actually does a little bit better job than this movie does. At the same point too, I was a little disappointed because that storyline was the most interesting, and we really just get that at the beginning and kind of skip it. We have a totally different characters, brand new Cole, who's supposed to be our main character, and really he has some kind of connection to that, opening Scorpion thing. But the Scorpion thing, that was the story that I was interested in. I would have liked to see more of that. Cole stuff, I really didn't care for too much. I mean, granted, the whole explanation of why, what he's fighting for and everything like that, I guess whatever, but for me, it didn't really hold up. I really think the Scorpion stuff had more weight to it, and it really comes back around a little bit as like a little shoot-in thing that we're kind of tying Cole to that I didn't enjoy quite as much.
I did not like this new character, Cole. I thought it's not necessarily his character itself. It's that he's completely unnecessary. Mortal Kombat has got so many awesome characters to draw from. They could have used Johnny Cage easily as a fish out of water character. You didn't need to create a whole new character for this movie and then turn that character into a MacGuffin.
It's always called the thing that the characters on the screen worry about, but the audience don't care.
Which is exactly what happens. Early on, they allude to like, oh, he's a human punching bag. And then later, it's just like, okay, well, his power, whatever they end up calling it in this one, is that he can basically Black Panther things with his his suit of armor. Like, he takes kinetic energy and just, except for when it's convenient to the plot. Nope, I didn't like Cole's character. I thought it was completely unnecessary. The only way it would have worked for me in the story is if he had sacrificed himself, if he had died. Because then I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense for, like, the rest of the Mortal Kombat continuity, where, okay, we're going to go into the tournament, and we don't have to have Cole, because he's dead.
Yeah, I don't think we really needed Cole in this movie either. Like, heck, we could have gone the 95 route and had, like, Liu Kang maybe be the lead, even though he's a pretty secondary minor character, I think, more in this movie, too. We could have gone the Scorpion route, too, which, you know, Scorpion's Revenge is kind of like, but I think they were trying to be different just for the sake to be a little bit different. But I will say one thing about Cole, I could see at least that his power, where, like you said, the explanation of him being a punch bag and what he can do, I could kind of see that actually playing in the game. I'm pretty sure he's going to be a playable character in a future Mortal Kombat game. And at least I think they were going a little bit, instead of saying, hey, what could be cool for a movie, and then just give him a power that's cool for a movie. I can actually see his power being like a video game based power. Like, hey, yeah, this guy can take attacks and stuff, and then he does something after he takes like attacks and stuff. So at least I think the whoever wrote it and stuff, the writers of this, actually had some thought into like video games and stuff, as opposed to like, hey, we're just gonna make a movie. And that goes on to my other point. I think this is more for people who have played Mortal Kombat, who, you know, have, you know, experience playing, you know, fighting video game stuff. I think they're gonna enjoy that more than just someone who enjoys movies and wants to come in for fight scenes and stuff.
The fight scenes in this are really good, and then, to be honest, we get to the end of the movie, we get to the actual climax, and I thought to myself, oh, there's a character, there's a moment where Cole's wife is just like, F this, and I was thinking to myself the same thing at that point in the film, like, yeah, F this. Matt's gonna have to bleep those out, sorry. But like, I'm like, this is getting a little bit tired and tedious, and I thought maybe this 150-minute runtime is starting to really wear on me, basically. And my God, I just want to watch the Mortal Kombat tournament, and then finally we get to the climax where we get back to the Scorpion Sub-Zero plot, and I'm like, okay, great, thank you, finally.
Yes, you know, totally. And there's some other characters I was a bit disappointed with too, like Shang Tsung. I was a bit disappointed with his character, even though I like a lot of the actors that played the different characters in this movie. I didn't like the characters quite as much. And though I will say, like, even though the Scorpion Sub-Zero are probably the best fight scenes, probably the best fatality, it goes on with another character, and I don't want to completely spoil it for people that didn't watch it, but
don't spoil that.
I won't spoil
that's
it,
awesome.
But it is absolutely sweet. I'm like, yep, that was the best fatality in this movie.
Yep, that was flawless, you might say. You know, all in all, I tried to give this movie a fair shake, and I tried really hard to not just sit there and compare it to the 1995 one, but it kept coming back and kept coming back. And I'm just like, you know what? I just have a lot more fun, nostalgia maybe being a part of that, watching the 1995 movie than this one. It takes itself too serious. I don't like the inclusion of Cole. There's not quite enough fight scenes in it, and as I've said several times now, the lack of an actual Mortal Kombat tournament is so boring to me in a first we're going to set up this franchise film.
Yeah, I about there with you too. Grab some popcorn, enjoy the fight scenes when you have them and stuff too, and you know, we're definitely setting up other characters that we didn't see in this film that maybe come out in other films. So hopefully, if we get those sequels, the sequels are better than this one. Guys, if you've seen this new Mortal Kombat movie, let us know in the comments what you think about it. We also have a YouTube page where we have plenty of other videos. We have new movie reviews, flashback movie reviews. We also look at TV shows and have deeper dive discussions.
We also have a Facebook page. Make sure to check us out there. We post the day before what we're going to be posting on YouTube the next day. We make new video posts every Monday and Thursday. Be sure to come back and check them out. For now, I'm Randall here in Texas. I'll see everyone next time.
And I'm Matt here in Michigan. Have a good day, everyone. Next time on No Market Media. please consider checking out some of our other videos.